Hey everyone, I have a book haul for you guys today. Well, sort of. It's got a couple DVDs in there too. And one of them I actually got a couple weeks ago, but I don't think I showed you guys what it was. So if I have, and if this is a double, sorry. But anyway, I'm going to try to make this quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read you guys the backs of these and try not to talk too much about them. And yep, so here we go. Okay, the first one I got was Miss Buncle's book by D.E. Stevenson. I was recommended to get this, well, not personally, but anyway, I saw Emma from Bookish Princess talk about this, and she talks about a couple other D.E. Stevenson books, and my Barnes & Noble was finally smart and decided to get it, so that was great. And so I picked it up. It was originally on my Persephone list, but those are hard to get, and I think these are really pretty too, so I figured, why not? Read you guys the back of this real quick. It says, "Who knew one book could cause so much chaos? Barbara Buncle's in a bind. Times are harsh, and Barbara's bank account has seen better days. Maybe she could sell a novel, if she knew any stories. Stumped for ideas, Barbara draws inspiration from her fellow residents of Silverstream, the little English village she knows inside and out. To her surprise, the novel is a smash. It's a good thing she wrote under a pseudonym, because the folks of Silverstream are in an uproar. But what really turns Miss Buncle's world around is this. What happens to the characters in her book starts happening to their real-life counterparts. Does life really imitate art?" So that just sounds awesome, and I'm really excited to read this, and I think, I thought maybe there may have been a movie of this, but I could be completely wrong. I'll look it up somewhere. Next, all of these came from the Friends of the Library bookstore that I have in one of the branches of my library, and they're really cool because they're donated books and CDs and DVDs and audiobooks by either other library branches as well as the main branch where they are, or by patrons. And what they do is they sell all those things for way cheaper, and all the money then goes back into the library. I think our branch that has the bookstore does mostly, or uses the money mostly for the bookmobile. So yeah, it's a really cool system. And they had some good things the other day. Okay, so first I got Eleanor of Aquitaine by Alison Weir. I thought this was awesome because normally I hesitate to buy hardcovers, but this cover was gorgeous. And how I'm gonna read Alison Weir's work is I'm going to read chronologically, historically. So I'm going to start with this one because Eleanor of Aquitaine lived in the 12th century, and go all the way through, I think, the most recent historical figures that she wrote about were Mary Stuart and Elizabeth I, Elizabeth Tudor. So yeah, so that's how I'm going to do. And I think also, in addition to that, how I want to do it is a lot of her books, she has one subject where she has written a nonfiction book about them and then a historical fiction novel about them. So what I want to do is read the nonfiction book first and then the novel, and then move on to the next subject, and so on and so forth. So for Eleanor of Aquitaine, I'll read this one first, and then I'll read the novel counterpart, which I believe is called The Captive Queen. I could be wrong about that, but I think so. And then that's how I'll go through all of her work. So yeah, really excited to get to this one. And I will read you guys the summary of this one. It says, "Renowned in her time for being the most beautiful woman in Europe, the wife of 2 kings and the mother of 3, Eleanor of Aquitaine was one of the great heroines of the Middle Ages. Although she lived in an age in which women were regarded as little more than chattel, Eleanor managed to defy convention as she exercised power in the political sphere and crucial influence over her husbands and sons. In this beautifully written new biography, Alison Weir, author of 5 widely acclaimed chronicles of England's royal rulers, paints a vibrant portrait of this truly exceptional woman and provides new insights into her intimate life. Born in 1122 into the sophisticated and cultured court of Poitiers, I think that's how you say it, Eleanor came of age in a world of luxury, intrigue, bloody combat, and unbridled ambition. Sorry, guys. At only 15, she inherited one of the great fortunes of Europe, the prize duchy, I've never known how to say that, and I took French for like 6 years, so no idea, of Aquitaine. Sorry, lost my place. Yet her father had been shrewd enough to realize that her future security lay in a powerful marriage. Consequently, the sensual Duchess submitted to a union with the handsome but sexually withholding Louis VII, the teenage King of France. The marriage endured for 15 fraught years until Eleanor finally succeeded in having it annulled, only to enter an even stormier match with the aggressively virile, hot-tempered Henry of Anjou, who would soon ascend to the English throne as Henry II. So, that sounds intense and fantastic. Next, I have Little Men by Louisa May Alcott. You guys may have seen from previous bookshelf tours, I already have a copy of Little Men that I have not read yet. But the thing is, I'm still probably going to keep this because I love this cover, and this is easier to carry around, and it came from Borders, which no longer exists. And also I have sentimental attachment to it, even though I've never read it, just because I have a lot of nostalgia from remembering the day that I bought it and the circumstances in which I bought it. So, still going to keep this. But this had to come home with me because look how pretty. It is gorgeous, and it was $3. And oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's got like blue pages, and then it's an illustrated edition. This is the illustrated junior library edition, or junior illustrated library, and then there's one of the illustrations, and it has some full color and then some black and white, excuse me. So yeah, this was gorgeous, and I'm really excited to read Good Wives next, and then this one, so I really wanted to get this because I thought it would be nice to read a illustrated edition the first time I read it. Only problem is the plastic's coming off, but I can tape that. And for that, I can't really tell you much of what happens because this one, that copy doesn't have a synopsis on the back. This one does, but it spoils who ends up with who in Little Women, so just in case you guys haven't read Little Women or Good Wives, I don't want to, well actually, I guess it happens in Good Wives, but in case you haven't seen the movie or read Good Wives, I don't want to spoil it for you, but what I'll say is Jo March, the main kind of little woman in Little Women, is grown at this point, and she is running her own school with her husband, but I don't want to say who she marries. So next up we have these two, and they are gorgeous. They match, which I love. This is Maurice by E.M. Forster and The Longest Journey by E.M. Forster, neither of which I have, or neither of which I had before, and I now have all 6 of his main works, I think. He has some lesser, not lesser works, but like shorter works, like he has short stories, and then I think The Machine Stops is a novella, but I don't have that one. But anyway, I'll read you guys these. So for Maurice, it says, Maurice is perhaps E.M. Forster's most poignant exploration of a theme evident in nearly all of his novels, the eternal struggle between passion and convention, a subject made all the more profound by the personal element Forster adds. In an afterword, the author discusses the experiences that inspired him to write Maurice, And in a further postscript dating from 1960, Forster comments eloquently upon the shift in public attitudes towards homosexuality, from ignorance and terror to familiarity and contempt. I'm sorry, my voice is just going. Set in Edwardian England, this is the story of Maurice Hall, a Cambridge student following in the footsteps of his suburban stockbroker father. By all outward appearances, Maurice seems destined for a life of compromises, a man who will simply take his place in society. But at Cambridge, the love between Maurice and his dear friend Clive Durham awakens and flourishes, introducing Maurice to feelings of joy he had never imagined and spurring him to dream that two men together could defy the world. I really love that last sentence. I think it is beautiful. And I'm looking forward to reading that one. And then we have Longest Journey. Lionel Trilling considered The Longest Journey perhaps the most brilliant, the most dramatic, and the most passionate of E.M. Forster's works. Published in 1907, it is also the author's favorite among his novels. In this, his second novel, Forster exposes the failings of his respectable English characters without removing them from their native surroundings, as he did in Where Angels Fear to Tread, A Room with a View, and A Passage to India. The novel revolves around Ricky Elliott, a congenitally lame young man with a tragic past. Raised in a stifling English suburb, Ricky is sent to Cambridge to achieve greatness, and there encounters the temptations of an impractical life, one of philosophical questions, wild hopes, and imaginative flights. His marriage to the conventional and pragmatic Agnes Pembroke, who he mistakenly believes is his great passion, and his subsequent move to Sawston, I may be saying that wrong, sorry, to live and teach, provide the background for the story of Ricky's true enlightenment. So yeah, both of these sound amazing, and what I really want to do for these, I think, at the other three that I don't own, and also rereading Room of View, is I want to read them in writing order, because, weird fact, Maurice was actually written between 1913 and 1914, but it wasn't published until 1971. So I think I'm going to read all the others in their publication order, and then just fit this one in for when it was written, rather than when it was published. Yeah, I just think that would be a really great way to see how his writing develops, and since I've only read Room with a View so far, that'll be pretty easy to do, and then that way I can fit in rereading Room with a View as well. So, these will be great. And then, last but not least for the books, I have the Two Mrs Abbotts, which fits in with, this is by D.E. Stevenson as well, which fits in with Miss Buncle, because this is the third book in that trilogy. Saga, because I think there are 4 books. I think it goes Miss Buncle's book, Miss Buncle Married, the Two Mrs Abbotts, and then the Four Graces. And then she has 4 other standalone novels that are also being reprinted right now. So, again, I don't want to tell you much about this one, because I think it would be spoilery, because this is the third one. And I sort of know what this one's about, just because I have read the back, but it does spoil some things that happen in this, and I didn't know that when I read the back. I shouldn't have read the back, but anyway. So, yeah, I don't want to read you guys the back of this one. But, this I got, I think it was $2 at this sale that I got it from, so even though it's the third one and I haven't even read the first one yet, it was really too good of a deal to pass up, and I really wish that they that whoever had donated this had donated the whole collection, because that would have been great, because I could have gotten the other 3 for $2 each instead of just this one. But really excited for both of these, and I'll probably buy Miss Buncle Married in between, or maybe request that my library get it. And then the last 2 things I have are DVDs that I'll just show you guys real quickly because I'm running out of time. First is Little Women, just because I have lost my VHS tape and I've never had this on DVD, so I figured, hey, it's $1.50, why not? And then Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, which is the second film in the saga because I'm having to recollect these. Well, actually, I've never actually owned this one, but I had to rebuy the first one, Curse of the Black Pearl. I've owned On Stranger Tides since it came out, and I figured why not get this one and the third one as well, because I did have them all in a box set for the UK versions, because I got that on sale when I was in Scotland, so I figured why not, because I could just watch them on my computer. And it turns out I can only change the region on my computer up to 5 times. So didn't know that until after I couldn't return the box set, and so now I'm kind of stuck with a series of DVDs that I can't watch. But it's okay, because I'm collecting the American editions for really cheap. This was $1.50, so I really hope it works. But anyway, so now I just have At World's End to get. Let me know what you guys think of any of the books that I've talked about, or the movies, and thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.